The stars were quiet that night. Far above Earth's silent forests, the sky shimmered with cold light. But something was coming, something that would change everything. Jack Thorne was sitting alone in his small wooden cabin, deep in the forest. His fire crackled gently. He had no phone, no internet, no people, just the trees, the stars, and silence. That's how he liked it. That's how it had been for 9 years, until the old satellite phone rang. It was dusty, dead, and buried in a metal box. Jack froze. No one had called him since the fall. BZZT, BZZT, BZZD. He stared at the screen. It just showed one word. Incoming transmission. Channel XE9. Jack picked it up slowly, confused. Hello, he said. Static. Then, a voice. A woman's voice. Deep, confident, strange, and somehow amused. Haha. Restore my throne, and the snuva between my legs is all yours. Jack blinked. What? The voice laughed a loud, royal kind of laugh. Then it changed tone. You're still alive. Good. We have much to do, human. The screen flickered. A face appeared. Alien, but beautiful. Her skin was violet and glowing faintly, eyes like burning suns. A cracked silver crown on her head. Armor dirty and damaged, but once regal. Jack stood up. Who the hell are you? I am Lady Zalora, once Empress of the 11 Suns. Now, a joke among traitors. I need your help, Jack Thorne of Earth. How do you know my name? He asked. Because I've been searching for you. For years. You, and only you. The call cut off. Jack stared at the phone. A cold wind blew outside. Somewhere an owl called. He didn't move for several minutes. Then, the night sky tore open. A loud boom echoed across the forest as a ship sleek, black and wounded crashed into the trees 3 miles away. The shockwave rattled his windows. Jack grabbed his old rifle and backpack. He found the ship half buried in mud and broken trees. It hummed like a dying animal. Heat leaked from its sides. And standing outside it was her, Lady Zalora. She looked taller in person. Her armor shimmered under the moonlight. Her eyes locked onto Jack like a predator. You came, she said. Good. That means your survival instincts still work. Jack aimed the rifle. Start talking. Zalora raised her hands. You are the last human the galaxy doesn't control. That makes you dangerous. That makes you useful. To who? He asked. To me. And to a future you don't yet understand. He didn't lower the gun. Why did you make that stupid joke? She smiled. Because I thought a human might enjoy a little humor. And it worked. You came, didn't you? Jack didn't laugh. Tell me what's going on. Zalora took a small cube from her belt. A hologram appeared. It showed Earth from space, but it looked different. Scars across its land. Oceans poisoned. Cities turned to dust. Earth was targeted. Not destroyed, but silenced, she said. The galaxy thinks your kind is extinct, but I knew one would survive. And I need that one. Why? Because only a human can unlock the Star Throne. Only a human's DNA can activate it. What? Throne? The throne that can control fleets, worlds, armies. The throne I lost, the one I want back. Jack lowered the rifle slightly. You want me to help you take over the galaxy? No, she said. I want you to help me take back what was stolen. Help me rise again. And in return, I offer you power, safety, and maybe even the snuva. Jack frowned. You're really not going to explain what that means, are you? She winked. Not yet. Suddenly the cube beeped. A red signal flashed. Zalora's face turned serious. They found us. Who? Bounty hunters. Hired by the usurper king. They want my head and your blood. Jack stared at her. What's in my blood? You'll see, she said. Now run. A loud screech came from above. A drone zipped through the trees, scanning with red beams. Zalora pulled Jack down just in time. It fired, missing them by inches. Great, Jack muttered. Aliens, thrones, royal weirdos, and now people trying to kill me. Welcome back to the galaxy, she whispered Dot as they ran through the forest. With lights chasing them, Jack couldn't help but think, what the hell did I just get pulled into? And somewhere deep inside him, something ancient began to wake up. Something human, something powerful. Space was quiet. But her heartbeat wasn't. Lady Zalora crouched behind a fallen tree, her eyes glowing in the dark. The hum of hunter drones circled above. They were close. Too close. Beside her, Jack Thorne held his breath. The rifle in his hand felt heavy, but the questions in his mind were heavier. He turned to her. You still haven't answered me. Why are they chasing me? Zalora didn't look at him. Her eyes followed the sky like a lion watching vultures. Because you're not just some human hiding in a forest. You're rare, dangerous. Jack scoffed. I was a soldier long ago. That doesn't make me special. She finally looked at him. No, but your blood does, he frowned. What's in my blood? Zalora smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. It was the kind of smile someone makes before dropping a bomb. You are the last key to a forgotten empire. 10 minutes earlier, they'd been running. Now they were hiding in a cave. Beneath a waterfall. Cold water dripped from the walls. The fire Jack made hissed with steam. Jack stared at her as she dried her armor. It looked like it was once part of something holy. Now it was cracked, scorched, and dirty. Like her. Start talking, he said, from the beginning. Zalora stood straight. The light from the fire lit her face, making her look like a war goddess. Long ago, she said, humans ruled the stars. Not many know this. The history was buried, burned, erased, but it's true. Jack didn't believe her. We never went past our own system. You did, she replied. But then you were betrayed. Your kind was hunted, scattered. Earth was silenced. Jack leaned back, his heart pounded. I remember the war. They came from the sky, bombed cities. People disappeared. Yes, Zalora said. The galaxy feared you, so they tried to end you. Jack rubbed his eyes. Why me? She pulled out a small glowing crystal and placed it near his arm. It scanned him and beeped. Your DNA holds a sequence, she said. The celestial genome. It can unlock weapons, machines. And the Star Throne. What is that? She walked to the cave entrance and looked up at the stars. It's more than a throne. It's a machine. A command center built by your ancestors, whoever controls it. Controls fleets, worlds, planets. It's buried deep inside a planet called Metherian. Jack stood up. So you want me to help you? Break in? No, she said. I want you to claim it. You're the last real heir. Silence filled the cave. Then Jack whispered, You're lying. Zalora turned sharply. I am a lot of things. A liar isn't one of them. Then, why joke about the snuva? She smirked. Because I needed you to listen. Not funny, he muttered. It worked, didn't it? Before he could reply, the cave lit up red. A hunter drone flew past the entrance. It paused. They found us, she whispered. Time to move. Outside, they ran through thick forest, feet splashing in mud, beams of light cutting through. Trees behind them. Zalora stopped suddenly. Give me your hand. Jack hesitated. Why? Just do it. He grabbed her hand. Her bracelet glowed, then released a pulse of energy. For a moment, the trees around them bent unnaturally and everything went silent. Then whoosh. They were gone. They reappeared inside a cold metal hallway. Blue lights flickered. The walls were made of black alien steel, full of strange symbols. Where are we? Jack asked. My ship, Zalora said. What's left of it? Hidden in orbit. I beamed us up using emergency phase jump. Jack looked around. It's Empty. She nodded. My crew betrayed me, sold me out. I barely escaped. Jack stepped toward the glowing control panel. He didn't understand a thing, but the moment his hand touched it, the lights turned white. Voice. Human signature confirmed. Celestial genome detected. Activating ancient systems. Alarm shut down. The ship came alive. Zalora stared in shock. You just woke up the core. Jack turned to her, face pale. What is happening to me? She walked up slowly, placing a hand on his shoulder. You're not just the last human, Jack. You might be the last king. Jack shook his head. No, I'm nobody. I'm not a ruler. Then why does the galaxy want you dead? She whispered. A message appeared on the screen. Transmission intercepted. Bounty fleet approaching. Eta. 36 minutes. Zalora turned to him. We have less than an hour before they find this ship. Jack clenched his fists. All this. Because I picked up a phone? No, she said softly. Because you were meant to. It started with a sound Jack hadn't heard in years. A war horn. Not from Earth, not from any human army. The sound tore through. Space like a scream. Deep, mechanical, ancient. And it was meant for him. Inside the dark corridor of the hidden ship, red lights flashed. Zalora looked at the screen. Her face turned cold. They've arrived, she said. Who? Jack asked. She stared at him. The hunters of the broken spiral. They only come for high-value prey. Jack's heart dropped. I'm not prey. They don't care. You woke the core. You triggered the old systems. Now they know who you are. Her voice lowered, or what you are. Outside, in the orbit above Earth, 6 enemy ships broke from warp space. Black like shadows. Long like blades. One spoke in a dead tongue. Target acquired. Last human. Bring back his heart. Burn the rest. Back inside, Jack was checking his rifle. We need to hide. Zalora shook her head. We need to run. There's no hiding now. They can smell. You across light years. Jack paused. Why do they want my heart? Zalora tapped the control screen. A symbol appeared, a star with wings. The throne responds to the celestial core, she said. Your heart is more than muscle. It holds. The signal. The key. Jack muttered, Great, I'm a walking password. Suddenly, a loud boom rocked the ship. They fell as sparks rained from the ceiling. They've started boarding, Zalora said. Jack grabbed her hand. Is there an escape route? She smiled. For the first time, yes, but it's not safe. Nothing's been safe since I met you, Jack said. They ran through dark metal halls. Past rooms filled with old weapons, broken droids, memories of war. Then they reached it. A strange machine, round like a pod. Covered in dust. Exiled called it the drop seed. It's a one-use pod, she said. Drops from orbit. No engine, no defense. Just speed. Jack raised an eyebrow. Sounds like a coffin. Better a fast coffin than a slow death, she replied. Another explosion. They had no time left. They got in. The drop seed launched. No countdown. No warning. Just the sudden silence of space. Then the screaming heat of re-entry. The pod shook violently. Jack held onto the seat. Zalora's voice was calm, almost bored. If we survive this, I owe you dinner. Make it a strong drink instead, Jack grunted. She smirked. Human stomachs are weak. He looked at her. Try me. The pod crashed through clouds. Below them, Earth's broken lands. They slammed into a dry riverbed. Dirt and smoke flew everywhere. Jack kicked the door open, coughing. That was terrible. Zalora stepped out like it was nothing. You're lucky I set the angle right. You'd be a pancake without me. He looked around. Where are we? A place I used to call safe, she said. An old rebel base. Long before I wore a crown. The base was hidden under stone, camouflaged by nature. Inside, old machines slept. Rusty, dusty, forgotten. Jack saw symbols on the walls, familiar shapes. "Wait," he said. "These are human designs." Zalora nodded slowly. "Yes, long ago, your kind helped build this. Before your world was burned." Jack touched the wall. For a second, a warm pulse ran through it. The door opened with a click. Voice, "Human signal detected." "Welcome home." Jack stared. "Why does everything listen to me?" "Because," she whispered, "you're not just a human. You're the last one made right." Just then, an alert blared through the base. The hunters had found them. Through an old screen, they saw figures landing from the sky, tall, armored, monstrous. One of them removed his helmet. His face was a mix of machine and flesh. He spoke with a sharp grin. "The throne killer and her pet human. How sweet. We'll take his heart now." Zalora handed Jack a small cube. "Take this." "What is it?" "A memory core. It holds the map to Mytherian, the throne world. If I die, you keep going." Jack grabbed her wrist. "We both go." She looked at him for a long moment, then nodded. "Then we fight." Jack took position, loaded his weapon. Heart pounding. For the first time in 9 years, he felt something real. Not fear, not pain. Purpose. And as the shadows moved in, Jack whispered, "Let the hunt begin." Asterisk. The hunter's blade stopped an inch from Jack's throat. Time slowed. Enemy froze, paralyzed mid-swing, as if the universe itself had paused to watch. The lights in the rebel base dimmed. Walls began to glow with gold lines. Old machines powered on, one by one, as if waking from a long sleep. Jack didn't move. He COULDN single quotes to dot behind him. The wall hummed. Then a voice echoed through the chamber. Calm, ancient, deep. Celestial signature detected. Activating King's protocol. Zalora's eyes went wide. "No," she whispered. "It's real. You're one of them." The hunter who tried to strike Jack screamed, dropping his blade. His armor sparked violently. Smoke poured from his eyes. His body turned to ash before it hit the floor. Jack stumbled back. What did I do?" Zalora stepped closer slowly. She looked at him not like a soldier now, but like a priest looking at a miracle. "You didn't do that. Your blood did." Later, inside the base's medical chamber, Jack sat on a scanner bed. Wires wrapped around his arms. The room smelled like dust and old electricity. Zalora stood near a control panel, her fingers shaking slightly. "I ran your blood through the core's memory bank," she said. "Twice. And?" She stared at the screen. "You're not just human, Jack. You're Imperial grade." He frowned. "What does that mean?" She turned toward him. "It means your blood carries the royal code of the first men. You are descended from the kings of the Celestial Empire. The ones who built the throne." Jack blinked. "That can't be true. I was a mechanic, a soldier. My dad fixed engines. We weren't royalty. Your ancestors were," she said. "Before the great betrayal." She tapped a button. A hologram filled the air. It showed a tall human man in golden armor standing on a mountain of stars. Behind him, thousands of ships. "Boeing, this was your bloodline," Zalora said. "Until the Council of Nine turned on them. They feared your kind's connection to the throne. They feared your minds, your creativity, your rebellion." Jack said nothing. He felt cold. They tried to wipe out all celestial-blooded humans. "Not just to win, but to erase history," she continued. "But they missed one." Jack stood up. "You think I'm some kind of king?" "No," she said softly. "I think you're the last one who could become one." Silence filled the room. Then Jack said, "This doesn't feel like destiny. It feels like a trap." Zalora didn't argue. "Maybe it is, but it's your trap." Suddenly alarms blared again. Red lights flashed across the base. Jack grabbed his rifle. Please tell me that's the coffee machine. No, Zalora said grimly. It's worse. The screen showed a massive signal. One of the hunters had activated a beacon before dying. They called the fleet, she said. How long until they get here? Jack asked. Zalora's face hardened. 12 minutes, maybe less. Jack's eyes narrowed. Then we fight. She looked at him. Not here. If they capture you, they'll drain your blood and send your body to the throne as a warning. Where do we go? She opened a hatch in the wall. To the Path of Kings. It's underground, hidden. They ran through the base, through tunnels. Lit by golden lights reacting to Jack's presence. Doors opened without command. Lights bowed. Even the air seemed to shift. They reached a dark chamber deep below. In the center stood a circular gate. Floating symbols glowed around it. Strange metal vines connected to the floor. This is a phase gate, Zalora said. It can take us directly to Metherion, the throne world. Why haven't you used it before? Jack asked. She gave him a strange look. Because it only activates for those with the blood. Jack stepped forward. The moment his foot touched the stone ring, the gate roared to life. A portal opened, blue, bright and endless. King's Path confirmed. Destination: Metherion. Opening now. Zalora stared into the gate. Once we go through, there's no turning back, she said. No hiding, no escape. Jack looked into the portal. Behind him, alarms screamed. Explosions echoed above. He clenched his fists. I've been running for years, he said. Let's end this. They stepped into the light and vanished. Jack wasn't falling. He was dissolving. Time, space, and sound twisted around him like a storm of dreams. Light bled into color. Gravity spun sideways. One moment he felt heavy. The next he felt like smoke. Then nothing. The phase gate had taken him. When Jack opened his eyes, he was no longer on Earth. No trees. No sky. No wind. Just silence. He stood on a floating bridge made of black stone, suspended in a starless void. Below him, nothing. Above him, endless rings of broken planets. Orbiting in silence like ghosts. Beside him, Zalora appeared from the portal, coughing. She looked around, confused. This isn't the throne room. Jack stepped forward. Where are we? The bridge lit up beneath his feet. One step at a time. A whisper echoed in the dark. Before the throne, the trial. Suddenly, wind returned, but it was hot and dry. The stars blinked into view. Massive structures floated in the distance, cathedrals made of light and bone. A voice boomed across the void. Jack, Thorn of Earth, you carry the blood of kings. But do you carry the will? Jack froze. What is this place? Zalora whispered. It's the Crown Path, a test built by the first men. No one reaches the throne unless they survive this. Survive? Begin, the voice commanded. Without warning, the sky shattered. Pieces of memory rained down, scenes from Jack's past. War, fire, screams, his unit dying in orbit, Earth cities burning. The last call from his sister, but the memories didn't stay memories. They stepped out of the air-solid dark, twisted versions of people he had failed. A shadowy version of his best friend, eyes hollow. His old commander, burnt and broken. Even his father asking, "Why did you hide while Earth died?" Jack stepped back. "These aren't real," Zalora shouted. "They don't need to be. They just need to break you." The ghosts rushed him. Jack raised his rifle, but it melted in his hands. The trial wasn't about weapons, it was about truth. He fought with fists, fire, screams, but they kept coming. His guilt, his fear, his regret, until he collapsed. Then a hand reached out. Laura. She knelt beside him, eyes burning. "Your blood gives you power, but only your choice makes you worthy." Jack looked at her, bleeding, broken. "I didn't choose this. No king ever does," she said. "But they rise anyway." Jack stood. The ghost circled. He took a breath, closed his eyes, and forgave himself. The moment he did, the shadows cracked like glass and vanished. Silence returned. The bridge extended forward. A golden gate appeared, and beyond it, Mytherian, they stepped through. On the other side was the throne world. Massive towers floated in the sky. Oceans glowed with blue fire. The air tasted like stardust and ash. The city was alive but empty, except for one thing. The throne at the heart of a floating temple. It waited. Tall, spiked, humming with ancient energy. No buttons. No screens. Just presence. Jack stepped toward it. The ground shook. A warning. A test. Who seeks the seat of power? Boomed the throne. Jack said nothing. He just placed his hand on it. Everything stopped. The city froze. The sky dimmed, and Jack was pulled into the throne's mind. He stood in a white void now. In front of him, a copy of himself. But taller, stronger, older. The older Jack smiled. You are not ready. I don't care, Jack said. The galaxy's burning. Someone has to stop it. And you think it's you? I don't know, Jack admitted. But I'm the one still standing. The older version nodded. Then take the weight. In the real world, the throne glowed. Solara watched in awe. He's doing it, she whispered. He's bonding. The city awakened. Lights surged through ancient machines. Somewhere far across space, a signal was sent. A flare of power the galaxy hadn't seen in 10,000 years. The throne was no longer empty. A human had claimed it. But above the city, in orbit, something massive stirred. A fleet. Dark. Violent. Watching. And at its center, a face full of metal and hatred. So. That the last king rises, then I will rise too. Asterisk. The knife slid into Jack's chest like it already knew the way. No warning. No mercy. Zillara's hand was steady. Her eyes were not. Jack gasped, falling to his knees. The world spun. His blood hit the cold throne room floor. Black stone that pulsed like it had a heartbeat of its own. He looked up at her. Why? Zillara didn't answer. Not yet. She just whispered, I'm sorry, 1 hour earlier. The throne had accepted Jack. Machines that had slept for millennia now whispered his name. The city above them glowed like a reborn star. But power never comes alone. It brings enemies. In questions. Zillara stood at the edge of the chamber, staring at the swirling throne core. Jack approached her, confused. You haven't said anything since the activation. She didn't meet his eyes. Because I know what comes next, Jack frowned. What do you mean? I once sat on that throne, she said, briefly. Long enough to learn what it does, what it wants. He stepped closer. And what does it want? Sacrifice, she whispered. From you, from me, from anyone who dares to claim it. That night, Jack dreamed of fire, of 2 thrones, 1 light, 1 dark. A voice told him, only one path survives, choose who dies. He woke up sweating. The palace was quiet. Too quiet. Outside, a moon cracked in the sky like an egg. A message came through the throne console. A strange code, ancient, half corrupted. Solara translated it slowly. Her hands began to shake. Jack, it's a betrayal. Protocol. He leaned over. What does that mean? She looked pale. It's not from me, it's from the throne. A test. It believes someone around the king will betray him. To protect you, it forces the betrayal to happen early. Jack's eyes narrowed. You mean, it makes betrayal happen? Yes, to reveal the threat before it grows, Jack paused. But there's only you here. Solara didn't speak, and that's when Jack understood. Back in the present, Jack lay on the floor. Breathing slowly, bleeding fast, Solara knelt beside him. Pressed her hand to the floor. A circle of gold light formed around them. Forgive me, she said. This isn't a murder. It's a rebirth. The throne responded with a deep hum, like a pulse, like a countdown. Jack gasped. I trusted you. And I chose to protect you from the real betrayer, she whispered. Because I already knew who it was. Above them, the sky tore open. The usurper king's fleet dropped from warp. Massive, silent, patient. Like a knife waiting for its moment. At the heart of the lead ship stood the machine-faced Warlord-Syth Rex. He watched Jack's signal glow from the throne. Let him bond, let him bleed. When the crown finishes changing him, I will take his skull as my prize. Back in the temple, Jack's vision blurred, but the floor caught his blood like a chalice. It shimmered, lifted, absorbed. A loud hum filled the room. King's DNA accepted, final bond initiating. Zalora stepped back, Jack's body lifted off the floor, his eyes opened, but now, they glowed. In the space between life and death. Jack stood once more alone, inside a throne-shaped construct of light. In front of him, every past ruler of the celestial line, men, women, hybrids, all watching. One of them stepped forward, tall, pale armor, long silver hair. You bled for the throne, he said. Now you must answer its call. Jack raised his chin. What if I refuse? The old king smiled. Then we erase you and choose another. Back in the real world, the light exploded. Jack dropped to the ground alive, changed. His wound was sealed. His armor had grown alive, flexible, fused with his skin. He stood taller, stronger. Something ancient burned behind his eyes. Zalora bowed her head. I never wanted to hurt you, she said. But you had to die a little to become. Jack looked at her for a long time. Then he offered his hand. We still have a war to win. But above them, the enemy was already landing. And somewhere inside the throne, something dark stirred, watching. Waiting. And whispering. Not all kings remain heroes. The first thing the galaxy felt was not war. It was the echo of a heartbeat, a deep, thunderous pulse, not from a machine, not from a weapon, but from the throne itself. After 10,000 years of silence, the human empire was awake. Jack Thorne stepped forward. His armor shimmered, alive with energy. His eyes no longer just human reflected the stars. The throne had bonded with him. Not like a tool, but like a memory coming home. Around him, the city of Metherian lit up, towers aligning, ships rebooting, defenses unlocking. It was as if the entire planet had waited for this single man to return. Beside him, Zalora stood silently. You feel it too, she said. Jack nodded. This place remembers me. High above the throne world, in the vacuum of space, Sithrix's war fleet opened fire. Dark cannons, energy lances, planet breakers. But the throne had seen worse. Without a command, shields rose from the city like glass mountains. They shimmered gold, bending beams like sunlight through water. In response, Jack reached out. Metherian, he said calmly. Return fire. Across the planet, forgotten stations awakened. Satellite weapons pivoted. Ancient starships buried. Under oceans launched into the sky with deafening screams. One command from Jack. One wave of his hand. And the air burned with light. Sithrix stood at the bridge of his dreadnought. Impossible, he growled. He looked older now, half flesh, half metal, body stitched by war. He doesn't know the systems, one of his lieutenants said. He doesn't need to, Sithrix replied. He is the system now. Back on the throne world, Jack walked through the Hall of Echoes, a place only kings could enter. Images of Earth flickered across the walls, past, present, future. Cities lost, battles forgotten, memories buried. He stopped at one. His childhood. Home. Still standing in one broken corner of the earth. Can I rebuild it? He asked aloud. A voice answered, not Zalora's, not the throne's, his own voice. From the future, yes, but first, you burn it all down. The throne offered Jack a choice. Use the full power and erase every enemy. Or choose a slower path. Diplomacy. Mercy. Zalora appeared beside him again. You have the fire now, she said. But fire builds. Or destroys. Jack didn't answer right away. In orbit, Sithrex launched a final weapon. A gravity core sun killer. It fell toward Metherian like a falling god. Jack watched it calmly. I won't fight like them, he said. He raised his hand. The throne responded. Instead of firing, it reached out, intercepted the core with a web of pure energy, and turned it to harmless dust. A message was sent to the enemy fleet. Leave. Or kneel. The enemy ships hesitated. Sithrex roared, cowards. He's just a man. But it was too late. One by one, the ships powered down. Pilots dropped their weapons. Captains lowered their banners. Sithrex was alone. Back on Metherian, Jack stood in front of the final console. Zalora placed something in his hand. A ring. It belonged to the last true human king, she said. He died screaming, alone in the dust. Jack looked at it. Then I'll make sure I don't die the same way. He slid the ring on. Throne core, bond complete. Command level, supreme. The galaxy lit up like a map. Stars, fleets, systems. Now answering to him. Turned to Zalora. We don't conquer, he said. We rebuild, we remember, we return. Later. A broadcast reached every corner of the known galaxy. It showed Jack, standing at the edge of the throne tower. The city of Metherian burning bright behind him. To all species, he said, this is not the rise of war. This is the return of balance. I am human. And I remember everything you tried to forget. He smiled, not in anger, but in warning. We are not extinct. We are awake, and we are home. Somewhere in the dark, a merchant whispered, humanity is back and far, far away on a small ruined blue planet. A single green sprout pushed up through cracked soil. The earth, too, was beginning to breathe again.